Hello, and welcome back to another very special episode of the Force Commander's Guide to Purging Nurgle. I'm Jay Starr, joined as always by my very frosty friend, Walish. We haven't even shoved him into the freezers for, 3 missions now, because the bloom is just getting out of control.
I'm melting.
Oh no.
No, seriously, Tennessee's fucking hot.
Hey, you remember Devorn, who we forgot about last time? Guess what he doesn't have? Yeah.
Another interceptor with that teleport. I mean, it's always one level up away. That's not so bad.
I don't know if always is right. Who knows how the game would assign his 4 skill points. Maybe one day we'll find an interceptor with an even worse build, but yeah. I can suffer through leveling him up once to get teleport.
Well, no, you always have access to the center 4, right?
Oh, yes, that is true.
So teleport is always one level up away.
Right, you're right. Yeah. I didn't have, a nice Falchion set for him, so whatever, Demon Hammer, maybe it'll get +2 damage out on 4 strikes and be useful again. Just before I get Mastercrafted weapons, it's not a big choice.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, the Servitors. I need the Servitors, because I don't have enough for an engineering project currently.
Yeah. Servitors are one of those things that you need, as many of them as you can get early on.
Yep.
And then, after a while, you've bought everything you need.
So Servitors or Grimoires are your usual mission rewards, and I feel like 15 Servitors usually vastly outweighs, a Grimoire or 2.
Yeah, Ooh.
Yeah.
The augmentation chamber finally finished.
Nice.
I'm a fan of this. It's not hugely impactful, but it's nice to have. The math works out on it.
Yeah. Thing I hadn't realized before, though, is that you have a default Servitor gain rate even before you repair that.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's 1 every 20 days.
Oh.
It's not
That
good.
actually makes it... Yeah, but it's still, 5 servitors every century. Or 100 days.
Yeah.
It's not much, but it adds up.
Also, everything I want to build takes 6 Servitors, and I have 4.
Yeah. Ship speed is really, really important.
Yes.
It can be the difference between getting 2 missions before the bloom, cycle finishes, or just 1.
Yeah.
The more missions you get, the better.
Yeah, because more missions gets you more requisition.
More experience, everything else. More attempts at the war gear you want.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you made a good point about the equipment, and it's not something I've ever bothered doing before, just because I'm very stingy with requisition, but it does make a good point.
Well,
might pay off
really
later.
More of a mid-game, late-game thing. Once you have access to Tier 3 war gear, it is probably worth buying every piece of Tier war gear, even if it's servo skulls that you don't want or grenades that you don't want, because you're increasing the odds that something you do want shows up.
Right, yeah, that's really good thinking. Hey, win mission without willpower? No thanks.
Yeah, the thread has pointed out that it's not impossible to do.
It is not. But it is mostly I'm going in here with high-level characters to, a low bloom-scaled mission, like a 1 corruption planet, and you're not expecting to see difficult things.
Yeah, it's another reason why you might want to have a couple of assassins, because
Yeah.
the sniper and the Eversor don't use willpower at all.
Right.
So
that would make that challenge a lot easier. Yeah, good thinking.
Yeah. 2 of them plus a couple of interceptors. I mean, it'd be a little bit scuffed, but you can do that for free requisition, and requisition is always worthwhile.
Yes.
Especially early on. The more requisition you can get, the faster you can get things upgraded and get access to better things. It's not that Tier 1 or Tier 2 war gear is bad, but it is obsoleted by Tier 3.
Yeah.
Alright. So just, I'm not going to say it's necessarily the A-team, but...
Well, it's definitely not with Devorn.
There are very few combinations of 4 different knights plus assassins that are, bad. There's even, very few combinations of 4 knights doubling up that are bad.
Yeah.
multiple apothecaries is kind of excessive.
Yeah. Although then you could have one focusing on psi abilities while the other reserves willpower for healing and other things. But yeah, so you could have one doing the bleed and the Emperor's Light for hobble. Like, I wouldn't go for 2 apothecaries at the same time, but spect with the idea that they will be deployed at the same time, you could shift one far more offensively to actually make use of it, and it wouldn't be terrible.
Yeah, we need to actually get around to doing class videos.
Yeah,
they keep wanting to be like, this is something we'll discuss later in more detail. And it's like, yeah, that actually hasn't happened yet. The threat is a hellscape.
Billions go about their pitiful daily lives oblivious to the affairs of their neighbors. Is it so shocking, Knight?
Poignant.
That's a commentary on the modern day.
Yeah. So this planet looks a lot more bloomy than the last one.
Yeah, I mean, it's 3 pips. The last one was also 3 pips, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
It's just, I think it's the tile set that they used.
Yeah.
Like, that little valley with the plants.
Yeah. That definitely was giving me a very Nurgle-y feeling in there. That little, like, corrupted grove or whatever it is.
With me, my brothers. Guns off, ready for battle.
First patrol.
I always love those door kick animations. I was so sad that I didn't get those on the first couple of missions. I remember when I first bought this game and approached my first door, like, alright, how do we open it? Alright, there's nothing here, because I'm looking for, like, XCOM 2 controls. I'm like, alright, just move through it, they'll open it. And then just to see your dude just kick it down in this cinematic, like, little cutscene, it's like, oh yeah, this game is awesome.
It is lovely. Although, like anything else, I do appreciate how it doesn't play it every time, because if it played it every time, it would get old very quickly.
I think there's actually an option for that. Somewhere in the options menus, there's like unit cinematics to like off, seldom, often, and always.
Yeah, but a lot of the unit cinematics are just great, and you don't see the individual ones all that often.
Yeah.
Praise the Emperor. Taking position.
Bloom spawn protected by a patrol.
Bloom spawns are almost always protected by a patrol, if not actually always.
Well, I mean, you can see the arrow associated with it.
Well, that one's patrolling, yes.
That one's patrolling. The other one
is stationary.
Does not have an arrow.
Yeah.
On the way.
Trying to judge whether or not hopping up there is going to reveal it.
Yeah, I'm very worried that going up into that like main factory room, conveyor room, whatever it is going to reveal more patrols, or at least leave me somewhere where they will move on their turn and then spot me.
I don't think he would have revealed the patrol on the right, or it would have shown up and revealed itself probably.
Yeah, so they went from behind that door all the way to there. If I had been up these stairs, I'd probably be in combat right now.
I wasn't sure about the very first patrol that you had seen.
Oh, that one's
just wasn't showing
way.
up.
Yeah, that one's way left somewhere. Yeah.
I wasn't sure how left it was.
Ready. I am here to
My plan was to deal with the bloom spawn first, but with that patrol right up these stairs and these kind of open sight lines, I figure I'd better take care of it before I inadvertently trigger it.
Knights!
That wasn't the best movement to activate them on, but I was at least prepared for it.
I really like the vest that stubber guy was wearing.
Oh yeah?
It was just vaguely stylish.
Arms are ready.
Like it didn't have the sort of green and covered in rips. It looked like it was just brand new, off the shelf. Nice, rich royal purple. Maybe not even royal purple, a little more magenta than that. I've just been really thrilled that there's a guy on Twitter who suddenly gained notoriety for just beefing on the style of people.
Okay. Oh,
he's a guy who just really likes men's fashion, and he's just very politely and definitively shitting on everybody who thinks that they dress well.
Okay.
It's great.
I thought I saw that, but it was like some rich guy that inherited his family money and was actually a giant jackass. But that might be somebody completely different. I'm not well versed on the social medias.
Yeah.
Jeez. Gave me a couple of thoughts here. I'm gonna have to get this one out of my brain. So purple. It's weird. The reason. Well, I guess it's the same reason why purple is considered royal. Is the same reason why I feel video games and lots of visual media use purple as the color of corruption. And you want to take a guess at why that is?
Go for it.
Because purple is very rarely occurring in the natural world. Like, it was royal purple because to make the dye for purple was a fucking effort involving, like, fucking boiling sea slugs and some shit.
Oh, yeah.
And so just purple isn't often, in nature. And it's a great color for corruption, like our bloomometer and a bunch of Nurgle shit, because it's unnatural to us. And it works better than black, because black is kind of flat and also doesn't work well with like other colors and highlights. Like our little bloomometer bar has, the swirly center bit has, like the dark purple in the back and then the lighter magenta swirly figure. So it accents real well, and it works with other things in a visual medium. And just... it's always stuck in my head about, purple being the color of corruption.
Well, I imagine that probably has to do with, like color pairing. Purple being a combination of generally some level of red and blue. Red doesn't have a whole lot of color definition. We have fewer cones for that. But red and yellow get used for, like, alert. You know, like, this is something to pay attention to. This is danger. Because nobody likes, trying to eat a bumblebee and getting stung. That's why bumblebees are generally yellow or red. Or bees and wasps.
Okay.
They are literally painting themselves with danger colors.
Okay. Listening. I mean, because red and yellow are also the hunger colors. Like, you ever notice that every, fast food restaurant is red and yellow?
Well, yeah. We pay attention to things that are red and yellow, more specifically.
Okay.
We generally have less ability to determine color definition for those colors. And I'm not sure if that's something that's been debunked since, I'm regurgitating shit that I learned, 20 years ago. But blues and greens, on the other hand, tend to be much more prominent, and we have better ability to distinguish between shades of those colors. Purple, being a combination essentially of blue and red, sort of fits in this weird thing where, we can distinguish between shades of purple, but it's got enough in there that it stands out because it's also generally made with part of red.
Interesting. We were way off topic. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, these are just basic cultists.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to figure out my optimal use of action points here.
Taste my fury.
I rushed the Justicar into the middle and then kind of do I really want to keep pressing forward? Or how do I want to utilize my guys here?
Mark acquired. You have been
look, all of these random tangents, about the Sun Crusher, generates tons of engagement in the thread.
Oh, good. We're going to get, the art people in the thread talking about, color palettes.
Someone in the thread is going to know about color theory in a way that I definitely do not.
Yeah.
Stay down.
Oh no, I'm being suppressed.
Strong
Dog.
Now you see the violence inherited into the system. Yeah, so for all of that and kind of a rushed engagement, the only damage taken was the interceptor getting punched for 1, maybe 2.
And with a little bit of upgraded armor, that wouldn't even really have been damage.
Yep. So I'm looking at this stubber thinking, I could try to shoot him and deal with that, but he has chosen his position poorly. But now I'm also
choosing poorly.
Yeah, I'm very worried about setting off those pods.
Well, if you didn't want to set off the pods, there's nothing stopping you from just gunning him down.
Yes.
My blade is yours.
As long as you don't move.
Yeah, I'm not gonna melee him, I don't think. I don't want to get close to that and set off the pod on the far side.
Just ready for the interceptor to step forward and be just close enough to set off the pod.
Right.
My blade is yours.
Oh, hey, I remember doing this now. So hey, seed pod, I want to get that. Did you remember the downside to Terminator armor?
Yes. The downside to Terminator armor is that you cannot climb or jump across the gap.
Right.
It's like if this were a different type of tactical game, Terminator armor would have a lower jump rating.
Yes, exactly that. So if I go down there and get that pod with either of the two Terminators that are the closest, they can't get back up. Also, the assassin can't harvest it because he's not psychic, which is apparently necessary. So I just have to move the assassin all the way over to try to minimize backtracking time.
Standing by for more targets. Here. Taking position.
It is really not often that the Terminator's downside to climbing comes in, but when it does, sometimes it can be really detouring. Oh, okay, recording hitch there.
Yeah. It's not something that's going to come up a whole lot, and so, like, generally speaking, it's Terminator armor is great for the people who can wear it. There are some classes that never want Terminator armor or can't get it. But it's not for mobility reasons. It's just that there is some power armor that is great. Like, there's more or less an equal amount of power armor to Terminator armor, maybe slightly less Terminator armor. And there's only so many good sets of Terminator armor to have.
Yeah.
So if you try and put everybody into a good set of Terminator armor, what you're really doing is spending a lot of time, like, cycling armor between units, which you can do. It's technically optimal to do that. But in reality, you can get away with power armor, and there are some quite good power armor sets out place.
Yeah, we saw the Grenadier power armor, which I didn't pick up the last time. There's some very task-oriented or purpose-built armors out there that can be really great for specific classes or specific builds.
They do really incentivize, based on the gear you pick up, kind of leaning into different things, which is one of the reasons why, even if it may be optimal, I kind of like the idea of just, like, giving people specific sets and building them around them.
Yeah, definitely. Me too. Hey, want to see some real 3D brain chess thing happening here? How would you like to surprise these cultists, or Nurgles, or whatever's mine as well, with the most, like, Kool-Aid Man entrance possible?
Oh, yeah.
So there are two options. Justicar wasn't quite in position for it, but he can just crushing charge straight through that wall. The other option, which the one I'm going to elect for here, is using the statue. Being able to start a fight at engagement range, like, close, like 5, like this, really benefits who gets to go first. And the player always gets to go first. So here's something fun. I thought I was in trouble here. You can see that I clearly see enemies, but all of my AP is still spent on the left-hand side.
You haven't gotten the revealed the enemy cutscene.
That too. I think, as far as the game thinks, combat doesn't start until I do this. Combat has now started. All of my AP has been refreshed on the left-hand side, and they didn't scramble.
Yeah, like, I was expecting the scramble as soon as you knocked down the wall. When that scramble didn't happen and the AP didn't come back, I assumed that as soon as you acted, you would get the scramble. This feels like an unintended thing that happened.
Yes, I would agree with that. I guess I don't know exactly what the programming difference would be, but I don't think they expected guys to just be in Marine sight range without, like, walking without the pod moving. I guess they just didn't anticipate a wall exploding between the two.
Well, like, I'm fairly certain that if you had Kool-Aid Man through, you would have gotten the whole like enemy scattering mini cutscene, like you normally get when you get vision on them.
Yeah.
I think it's specifically that you broke down the wall by knocking a statue into it.
Yeah, could be. Here's the fun move. I don't want to be next to the fat boy because it'll explode and plague me, but also that guy's next to a ring out.
Well, I think you could have done the other ring out as well. But...
Oh, the two people farther top screen?
Well, you could have gotten at least the one. I don't know if you could have gotten both.
I didn't think
he was definitely flashing.
Oh, was he? Alright. Maybe. Oh, I know. I don't want to be too close to the tree.
Yeah.
So that horrific tree is our new bloom spawn thing. Is the alternate from the artillery plant. Oh, that was.
Like it would be bad to be near with the whole sort of like swirling pool around it.
So the swirling pool is actually, was it Plague of Flies? A thing that I think shows up in other Nurgle settings.
Yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah, like in Total Warhammer, it's like protects against missiles.
I think that in Total Warhammer it's just increased melee defense, but
okay.
I know what it does here.
Yeah. So for everybody else, we'll scroll over it, but Plague of Flies just decreases incoming ranged damage by 1 to anything that is affected by Plague of Flies.
Weapons ready.
Yeah, so all the enemies that are nearby take slightly less damage if you shoot them. The tree itself takes slightly less damage if you shoot it.
Yep.
It's a little annoying, but...
Oh, it's very annoying.
It's not something that you can't work around.
Yes, it's actually fairly easy to work around if you're not under pressures from other things. So kind of like the artillery plant is a giant pain in the ass if you're fighting its pod that was defending it, because it's just going to spit on you. This thing doesn't spit. It has vile effluence. Now it says launch a blast over 6, and etc. and all those other things, and it armor pierces and hurts and heals and mutates the friendlies. The thing it doesn't say is that is a point-blank area. It is 6 tiles from the tree. So I'm going to count out 6 tiles, and there we are on the 7th tile. I'm safe. So it's the inverse of artillery plant. Stay 7 tiles away, be perfectly immune to this thing, whereas the artillery, you hug it and melee it and you're safe.
Much like the plant itself, there are advantages to just running forward and murdering it.
Yes.
But it can't do anything if you stand off at range, so there's no reason to risk yourself until you're certain that you're going to kill it.
Yes, I was going to say, sort of like the plant artilleries of last time. I'm going to calculate how much damage I can do in one turn, and if I can kill it, then I will close in and kill it. Until that point, though, I'm going to hang back and, prepare for it. I'm going to sit just outside of its range, chip at it, and then when I have like a fresh turn and enough AP, then it's time to close in and start beating on it.
I mean, even taking -1 damage from range, if you're reasonably close enough, it's a big-ass tree, it can't be behind cover.
Yes. There are 2 things. To be safely out of its range, I need to be at medium range for bolters or 10 range weapons, so that's -1, and then Cloud of Flies is -1, so you're really doing half damage by trying to plink it, which isn't great.
Must reload.
But it's better than having 4 units inside of its 6 range area of effect, because that blast will hit everybody.
Well, right. But if you've killed the patrol, you can still do a decent chunk of damage from complete safety.
Yes, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit here on this turn, spend my AP, because I don't have a full turn, and also I don't have fully loaded weapons. And I'm going to plink it a little bit. It also has 5 armor, which is annoying, because if you really try to plink it and you don't have nearly enough attacks, like, letting it have that 5 armor back every turn is not great. Oh, this! So, I don't have line of sight with my interceptor to the tree. Can you tell why?
I can see that there is, like, a little wall piece or something. It's showing that you can't move there.
So I'm moving the cursor around and looking for the little, like, 1-2 damage point thing that is appearing next to the tree's hit points bar. I'm just trying to figure out, like, Okay, that's 2. But here, and the square behind me, 0. So, saying that the tree was south of my interceptor. 1 square south does damage. Where I'm at does nothing. 1 square north does nothing. But 2 squares north is okay. And I can't figure out why. I have to assume it's something with the... I think there were boxes there that got either crushed by the Justicar going through them or the statue. I think there's just some remnant of terrain screwing with the calculation.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, some fragment of wall that it still thinks is there blocking you.
Yeah. Alright, well, due to range, Plague of Flies having to reload and spend AP doing that. I didn't get a whole lot of damage done to the tree. Like, only 4 of it actually counted for anything. But it's something. And now we're far enough, or close enough, that we can just bomb it.
Surely, with the whole turn's AP, you can do 21 damage.
Yes. Yes.
I am here to serve.
26, I think. 21 health and 5 armor.
Right.
Yeah. The one thing that makes it slightly disappointing is that to be outside of its blast range, you have to be 1 full movement of AP away. So everybody's getting 2 melee strikes instead of 3.
Yeah. I mean, that's not really so bad.
Yeah.
As you will. Standing
I appreciate how the assassin army units all have their own kick the door.
Yeah, that's great.
Face me!
Couldn't care. Will not take both hands off of his rifle for anything. Just stuck there with super glue.
I always love the Vindicator's animations for like going over rails and dropping down a level. Whereas your guys just kind of jump feet first. He kind of does like a front roll over the banister or whatever's in his way. Just looks really fluid doing it.
I mean, the FSU assassin arm has to be as extra as possible.
Onward, brothers!
Like really, I feel like
involve more drugs than Ohio.
I really feel like that's kind of like the design ethos of this game from its cutscenes to its little like glam shots. Is just be as extra as possible.
I mean, that's one of the things. If you're going to lean into 40K, like, lean into it. Don't take it seriously, but, like, pretend like you're taking it seriously. And everything 40K is much better on. Like, with the orcs, you know, like, yes, everybody knows that they're soccer hooligans and silly and ridiculous. But if you treat them like they're doing seriously, in a sort of wink, wink, nudge, nudge kind of way, they're even funnier.
I hadn't thought about soccer hooligans as the base for orcs.
Oh, 100%. That's what orcs are.
Okay.
I mean, GW would say that they're football hooligans, but
yeah,
the UK was the first person that came up with the word for soccer, so they get to use it.
Yeah. All right. So last time, you remember how my plans went absolutely sideways. Like, the first bloom spawn was a giant slug, and the second one was like, oh, well, if they're just going to summon a bunch of pitiful melees at me, I'm not even going to bother using my strategy, right? This is going to go a little bit more to my plan. So and I can demonstrate how I try to approach these situations when everything is working the way I want it to. It isn't a giant clusterfuck. Although, before we get to that, we have technically just seen a new type of enemy. I think I should be pulling up his stats. But also, I have time to buy, so...
You should be, but I don't know that you have a feeling about... You know, you don't have a good history for pulling up the stats of people.
Look, Dvorn was a momentary lapse.
Yeah.
It just happened to be a momentary lapse towards the end of the video.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is going to be spend a turn, see what the reinforcements are, let them...
In theory, yeah. Honestly, though, this is mostly just a turn where I'm thinking, how do I get that bloom seed out of that Plague Marine?
I just assumed you were going to shoot him. just shoot the seed out of him.
Yeah, wouldn't it be great if it was that simple?
At once, Commander.
I mean, the Vindicare does get precision strike on ranged crits.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what that Plague Marine is even overwatching.
He couldn't decide which door to watch, so he's watching the wall between the two doors.
Yeah, I guess.
I will hold them here.
Should be cones, but I do really like the visual design of the Overwatches.
Yeah.
I wish it were a little bit better at communicating like which squares counted as being part of the Overwatch. But, I mean, you can't have everything.
Right. So the Vindicare has precision targeting thing. If you see the right hand side of the screen, you can see that he has no lines of sight to any of the 3 Marines from his current position. So I
assumed that he'd be able to step out.
Yeah, me too. So I assumed the junk cover that I just exploded was the problem.
I think, yeah, nope. the problem is actually just the wall he's behind.
I think it's this brambly stuff in front of him, because that tile right there counts as high cover.
It does count as high cover, yeah. No,
so that blocks line of fire.
Okay. I feel like the correct answer is still just step up to that cover, take the shot, and then next turn, do your thing. Which I feel like is how this turn is going to go out.
Hmm.
Thinking about that stuff.
Yeah, I'm still really just trying to figure out where to go. If I had one more AP, this was easy. I have a plan here. But you're absolutely right. We are going to, we're going to get that seed. And just to keep our fragile little 9 HP sniper, we're going to keep him safe. We're going to go into stealth mode.
Precision target locked in.
He made the mistake of keeping the seed in his gun.
Seed remains intact.
So an important thing to note about the stealth suit is that it prevents you from being targeted by melee or ranged attacks. That is a spread attack.
How oddly legalistic.
Yeah. This distinction can be important in other factors as well. There are a few abilities that will affect ranged or melee, which very critically, like if you think you're boosting your ranged attacks, leaves out spread attacks.
Securing position.
Do we have Plague Sprayers last mission? I can't remember anymore.
I think we did, because I'm pretty sure I made a joke about the Brotherhood of Nod having access to chemical spares.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So never mind, that's why I didn't go into the little detail. Yeah. Same Plague Marines. So, here's what you do when things aren't going all weirdly pear-shaped, is you just get line of sight on the tree, scroll around and realize that it's like on a very tiny island with limited space around it, so I have to find the right place to put down the teleport. And then teleport your knights to it.
What is your will?
May as well force strike it, because this is the last turn. We're not taking that willpower home with us.
You don't get to turn it into, like, extra XP or anything.
I was momentarily confused that my apothecary doesn't have a force strike.
Yeah, the Narthesium doesn't actually have anything with it.
Got you. Power. Get down!
I mean, it's not actually intended to be a weapon. It's just by design,
It's very spiky and has like a circular saw blade for something that's not intended to be a weapon.
It's not intended to be a weapon because Narthesian is the tool used to extract the gene seed from space marines who have fallen on the battlefield.
Is it not meant to like heal them while they're still alive and operating?
No.
Oh.
No. It does not heal them while they are alive.
Okay.
In the tabletop, at least back when I played, it was used to reduce like leadership penalties for people falling if you had an apothecary in the squad, because the apothecary could extract the gene seed, and thus everybody would like, oh, we got the gene seed, everything's okay.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a surgical tool meant to be used on a dead or dying Marine to just pull an organ out very quickly, but intact. Which is why it's kind of spiky.
Note to self, never need an apothecary.
Never get shot.
Hooray, servitors, we needed those.
Yeah, it's a good chunk. Oh, we've already got a Bosk.
Yeah, I know. Ooh, look, a range 17 silencer.
This is actually like my favorite silencer type, the high range one.
High range, larger scatter shot.
Well, it also has the larger scatter shot. There's only like 5 or 6 different unique variations of each weapon.
Yeah.
And then they have tier 2 and tier 3 versions.
Hey,
some of them only have tier 2.
Remember when we were talking about the knockback halberd?
Oh, yeah.
Well, how about a knockback hammer?
Knockback hammer sounds like it'd be pretty rad.
It's very fun. That Terminator armor is great for people that use a lot of willpower, like librarians.
Librarians, yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's plus armor. Plus armor is always good.
Plus armor is always good. So I sit here probably debating whether or not I really want this. It's a tier 1 hammer. It doesn't do more damage. However, knockback is very funny. I think the deciding factor was that I was at 5 requisition rather than 4. So going down to an even number is less critical because it takes 2 per armory access. So by going from 5 to 4, by going from 5 to 4, if I have to talk to Grumpy Space Dad tomorrow, I have just as much armory access as if I didn't buy it.
Yeah, obviously going from 5 to 4 and then going from 8 to 7 wouldn't be good. But,
yeah.
So, reposition, actually incredibly rad.
Yeah. Chance at free movement.
Bleed on crits is whatever.
Well, that actually starts to get really good if you start trying to stack absolutely as much crit chance on a Vindicare as you can, which you should because of the precision targeting mechanic.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely benefit from having crit, even if they don't have crit damage. Precision targeting is extremely rad.
Yes.
And then bleed out of it is basically kind of like +2 damage every time you crit.
Right, yeah. It can add up, especially, it might not be super great now, but it's going to be better against enemies that are more likely to survive longer. Somewhere around here, I got this. This must be a DLC or a pre-order bonus. There's a chance to purge, which is okay. It's not like anything special, but it's free, so hooray.
There's actually one piece of pre-order war gear, which I think was the pre-order for the Dreadnought DLC. It's just ridiculously good for what it does.
I thought that was like the Chapter Master's Sword or something like that.
Well, there's a piece of war gear that gives like 10% crit chance and 2 crit damage in the same piece of war gear.
Okay, that's pretty rad. Yeah, that's real good. So here's our Purgator skill set, which I don't really like. And his unique ability is Skull Keeper for extra servo skulls, a thing a Purgator is not going to have.
It's not the best. Like, there are arguments when I think of skills, send him back, get the refund.
I don't want to have to retrain him, and I don't like all that other stuff. Yeah, he's going back to Titan.
By and large, when I talk about skill groups, and I'm going to be talking about this more in dedicated videos, you'll notice that every single skill set can loosely be described as a 3x3 grid, where there's top left group, top middle group, top right group, and they all connect to each other, sort of like a Rubik's Cube. The skill groups in general, if you think of them as going for and working with specific skill groups, is a very simplified way to think about it, and you won't go wrong. You don't necessarily want everything in a skill group, but there's usually something in there that you're going for, and it's very sensible. You have a path to get there. You have like 3 options that you will take, 1 option that you probably won't. And it works out.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the bottom right is on the Purgator. I just remember that it's not anyone's first choice.
It's the ability that you get by walking into it is the expend all of your ammo to give a damage boost to somebody else.
You can do stuff out of it, but it just, you have to lean into it. It's not bad, and you're gonna hear me say you can lean into it and it's fine, but you have to specifically lean into it.
Yeah. It is not for me, so that guy's back on Titan. We've got a requisition back, and we are done with this video. So I'm glad this one went smooth. You can see a nice smooth video. Congrats, everybody.
Nice smooth video.
Yeah. You know what else is nice and smooth? The ice cream.
Ice cream.
Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.